3 steps to get you out of your weight loss rut. I'm guessing as you're watching this particular video, you yourself are stuck in a rut right now. You feel like you've tried everything and nothing works anymore. So what's the point? You give up trying. If that sounds like you, then good news, you are in the right place. I'm going to take you through the 3 steps that cannot fail to take you out of your rut. Now, before I dive straight into those, I'm going to debunk some myths that might just be keeping you in that rut. Myth number 1, you tell yourself you'll do better or you'll start when you feel more motivated. But this is a recipe for disaster. You do not need to be motivated to get yourself out of a rut because actions are more important than motivation. So by telling yourself you'll do it later when you feel motivated, all you're doing is putting it off. Because in truth, that motivation might never come. You might just have to take action first, take that first small step that's going to help you build momentum and you'll find your motivation on the way. So stop telling yourself you'll do it later and watch this whole video through. Myth number 2, I just need to change up my routine. Variety can definitely help you not feel bored. However, we all know those people who bounce from one thing to another, whether it's the latest diet fad or the latest exercise trend. But if you never address the underlying issues, then you're not going to create lasting change. But simply switching things up without addressing the underlying issues that got you in the rut in the first place won't create lasting change. So to break free from your rut, you need to focus on sustainable habits and a long-term mindset. And myth number 3, and this one I see a lot. If I'm not perfect, why bother? Otherwise known as the all or nothing mindset. And perfectionism is actually the enemy of progress. And fundamentally, it's a flawed way of thinking. It gives us an excuse to give up on our weight loss goals because of one little thing that's offset us. Every small step counts, and all setbacks are a natural part of the journey. So now we've got rid of the 3 myths that might just be keeping you in your weight loss rut. Let's get into how you break out of that rut and start seeing your weight loss progress. Don't rush through these, go through them at your own time, and don't be too keen to step ahead. Make sure you do each step in turn, and it's a proven process that is going to work for you. So, step number 1, aim lower. Yep, you heard me right. Let me explain. By setting realistic targets, you are going to build confidence when you hit them, and that's going to build momentum because we all love hitting targets and it makes us feel really good. I'm sure like many other people, you've been caught out by trying to aim too high, doing too much too soon, and you've ended up giving up. Whether that's an overly restrictive diet or a crazy exercise regime that just took up too much time, and missing perhaps one session has meant you give it up completely. So that's why you're going to aim lower. There are 2 ways to do this. Number 1, do easier. And number 2, do less. So let's look at number 1, go easier. If you're a complete newbie to exercise and you pick a really hard, high intensity circuit class, or maybe you've gone to something like CrossFit, you push yourself really hard, you overstretch yourself, and you end up being sore for days afterwards. And this is where most people think that is too hard for them and they don't do it again. Far better to pick an easier exercise, something perhaps that's lower intensity or has more of an aerobic focus, so you can go, you can enjoy it, you can feel like you've worked hard, but your body recovers so much more quickly. And that leaves you wanting more. And you see how this can start to build that momentum and build that habit. And then let's look into doing less. This one's quite simple. Instead of setting yourself up for failure by saying you're going to go from no sessions a week to working out 5 times a week, you're going to be more realistic and set yourself a 3 workout per week target. Because in the first scenario where you've set yourself 5 workouts, if you miss 2 of them and only do 3, you'll feel rubbish. You'll feel like you failed and you give up. If, however, you set yourself the realistic goal of doing 3 sessions and you've achieved them, you feel great. So those same 3 sessions can either make you feel rubbish about yourself or really good about yourself, which is why it's so important to be realistic with your goal setting. This can also be applied to your nutrition. Setting really hard, overly restricted targets is going to be really difficult to stick to. So you can make it easier by being a bit more flexible. You're not expecting yourself to be perfect. You're learning to have the foods that you love in moderation. Or it could be that tracking just seems a bit too stressful and overwhelming at first, and you're finding it really hard. So instead, you look at portion sizes and potentially just track your protein at first. Again, this means that you're going to be building on your successes. Those small little changes that build up and make you feel good and confident about yourself. To sum sum up, by aiming lower, you're going to be able to start exercising more consistently in a way that suits your body and that you enjoy, and you'll be eating foods that you like, but learning portion control. And that's a really good first step to getting you out of your weight loss rut. So now you know to aim lower, you need to set your goals. I'm going to show you exactly how you can set your goals at the end of this video, and I'd love to see yours. So once you've gone through this process, make sure that you drop your goals in the comments so I can see them. And that's an action towards getting out of your rut as well. So on to step 2, building consistency. Building consistency is going to really bring your weight loss goals to life. People often ask me how I stay so motivated, and honestly, the truth is I'm not. Sometimes I have to drag myself to the gym, but the one thing I am is consistent, as consistency is what's going to help you reach your goals. So how do we build consistency? We build healthy habits. And here are 5 ways to help you build those habits more easily. Number 1, create a daily routine. This can be as simple as scheduling in time for yourself. Put that exercise time into your diary, as well as that 15 minutes that you're going to need for meal prep. By it going in the diary, it's confirming that it's important. It's not something that you can just push aside till tomorrow. So after this video, I'd like you to really have a think about how you can integrate your new habits into your routine. Number 2, build a support system. Enlist the helps of friends, family, a professional coach to keep you accountable and motivated. So again, another task for you, I'd like you to ask yourself, who do you know that you could ask to support you? 3, and this is a really important one, create the right environment. And again, this can be as simple as stocking up your fridge and your cupboards with nice healthy meals and snacks, and removing any of the junk food that you don't want to be eating to avoid temptation. And another classic is packing your gym bag the night before. You're ready, you're prepared, you're setting yourself up for success. So ask yourself, does your current environment support your goals? If not, it's time for a change. Number 4, track your progress. This can be through an app, through a spreadsheet. Again, it could be through a coaching program, whatever works for you, to make sure you can track your progress, look back at it, and be proud of what you've achieved. When we're in a rut, it can feel like we're not making any progress and we're stuck. So having a visual reminder of your progress is going to help keep you on track. And finally, number 5, set reminders. So set reminders for these new habits. It reduces the chance of you forgetting to do them, and again, makes it known that it's a priority. If you feel comfortable, then in the comments, tell me all about the reminders that you're going to be adding straight away. So before heading into step number 3, you need to make sure that you've done steps 1 and step 2. You've aimed lower and set yourself achievable goals, and you've managed to build consistency with your habits. Now's the time for step number 3, where you're going to compound momentum. So consistency is build the habits, and it can also build momentum. And with this, you're going to achieve your goals even sooner than you'd expected. Now in step 1, remember, we were dealing with a negative flywheel. So the aim was to aim lower. But here in step 3, we're with a positive flywheel. So we absolutely want to make full use of that. And we're going to do that 2 ways. We're going to do more, and we're going to do it better. So doing more, you're simply going to increase the volume of the activities that you're already doing. So say you're easily doing your 3 30-minute sessions a week, perhaps you up that to 4 sessions. Or maybe instead of those half-hour sessions, you make them 45 minutes because you're more used to exercise being part of your schedule, and so it's easier to fit in. And then doing it better, you're going to make the activity more challenging. So if your activity was going out doing long walks, you might turn that into a jog or even a run. If you were doing a body pump class, you might start to take weights seriously and start lifting. A nutrition example might be that you found it overwhelming at first to track everything, so you simply relied on portion sizes and tracking your protein. Now you're more knowledgeable about your nutrition and you're settled into a routine, you can push that a little further and you can start tracking completely. This will make it easier to create a sustainable calorie deficit, which is what you need in your weight loss journey. So by doing more and by doing it better, you are going to compound that momentum because you're choosing those extra sessions, you're choosing to push yourself harder because you are ready for it, and you're riding that momentum and that positivity of those habits you've created. So you've got your 3 steps. Now, as promised, we need to set those goals. So let me show you the best way to set your goals. And remember, be sure to drop your goals into the comments as your commitment and your first step to getting you out of your rut. So let's go. Your goals need to be smart. They need to be specific. They need to be measurable, attainable, relevant, relevant, and time-bound. Getting specific with your goals is really important because just want to lose a bit of weight is going to be really difficult to track your progress. Also, if by losing weight you mean losing body fat and changing shape, then that's going to dictate the type of training that you do. So having your weight loss, body comp changes, and fitness goals as specific as possible is going to be really helpful. Then you need to make sure that it's measurable. So again, in the first example, if you just want to lose weight on the scales, then you're going to be able to measure it by the scales. If you want to lose body fat and build muscle, however, the scales might not give you a true reflection of the changes you're making. So you'd need to add measurements. Measure your waist, check that's going down. Measure your biceps, make sure that's going up. This way you can see if the actions you're taking are actually working and bringing you closer to your goal. Then we need to make sure those goals are attainable. You can also think of this as realistic. So with your current lifestyle and resources, is this an attainable goal for you? Because again, setting an unrealistic goal is going to keep you in your rut when you don't achieve it. And then relevant, making sure your goal is relevant. I'm going to use the weight loss example again. Some people say they just want to be a certain number on the scale. However, when I dig a bit deeper and ask about their goals, they actually want to fit into their favorite clothes in the wardrobe. They want to feel confident taking their top off at the pool. They want to not get out of breath walking up the stairs. So making sure your goal is relevant is super important. So some people will have two goals that don't align very well. For example, I want to lose weight. I want to get a PB in the gym for lifting. Relevant, making sure your short-term goal is relevant to your long-term goal and they are in line. And finally, time-bound. What's the specific timeline for achieving this goal? This can help put more urgency onto it and more easily put into place a routine that's needed to help you reach it by that point. So now you know how to set your goals. Drop them into the comments and get yourself straight to step 1, aim lower. Before you know it, you'll be at step 2, building consistency, and finally to step 3, compounding momentum. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe for similar content. Thanks for watching.